Right then, this is a quick walk around video, and it's on a bit of a breezy day, I'm afraid, but for a very nice car. Honda CR-V 2.2 EX diesel. It's a 2013 car, but it's covered just 32,900 miles. It's had one owner from new, and all of the servicing has been conducted by the Honda main dealers. And I think it was 10 recorded Honda services, so an extraordinarily well looked after car, and in lovely condition. I'll go around the car as always. Front of the car, lights and lenses are clear and intact without any cracks or condensation in them. Bonnet, incredibly clean, hardly a stone chip anywhere on there. I'm sure a microscope will find one or two. Near side, indentation free, can't see any obvious blemishes in that regard. Near side front alloy, really good on the car. Panel looks really nice. Sorry, near side rear alloy, again, really good. Look around the back of the car, bumper corners, entry to the boot, all really clean. Around to the offside, driver's side of the car, again, just mirror smooth, no indentations at all. Offside rear alloy, and this is the only real obvious mark on the car. Around the valve stem there, it's got a bit of pickling on the paintwork, which I'm not going to do anything about on a 9-year-old car, because it's got to show some signs of wear, surely. And then offside front, again, very nice indeed. So externally, the car's in really nice condition. Coming to the boot area now, cavernous boots on the CR-Vs, and most CR-Vs are very heavily used in the back, because that's what they're designed to do. But this one's all carpeted areas, and most of the plastics are really nice. Coming to the back of the car now, you've got this lovely light leather interior. Looks absolutely stunning on the car, I have to say. Always been a fan of it, because it just brightens up the interior of the car in a very nice way. And the videos don't really do it justice, in all honesty. Coming to the front of the passenger side, again, lovely and clean and tidy. Full set of original Honda interior mats. Passenger seat, again, super condition. Finally, driver's door card, again, absolutely unmarked. Footwell area is again beautifully clean. The driver's seat's in fantastic condition for a 9-year-old car, regardless of mileage. So inside the car now, away from the wind finally. Dashboard just looks pristine, it's a beautiful condition. Sat nav, you can see, working exactly as it should. Pop the car into reverse. Got that lovely clear gridded parking camera, which complements the front and rear parking sensors. As I say, it's been kept simply beautifully. And to come up to the main dash binnacle, hopefully you can see it without the glare. Tilt my camera. 32,954 miles, and there are no warning lights on the dashboard at all. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut key, all here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Honda CR-V. It's a 2.2 EX diesel manual. This car is registered, you can read it, YA13KNG, and a very low mileage this one, 32,946. The reason, by the way, that we do all of our videos, and actually especially this road test section, is to ensure that if anyone is online looking at any of our cars, they get to see the very car advertised in operation. And the reason we feel it's important, as you always say, is because, like far too many people, we've been to see cars which have looked absolutely fine in photographs and descriptions, but only to get there and find out there's an obvious fault that shows up when you drive the car. So that's why we do it. Also done on these lovely quiet country roads in this lovely part of Gloucestershire. This actually forms part of the road test route we take our customers on, and the rationale behind that is hopefully it'd be representative of what you'd feel yourself should you be offered a test drive in the car. So coming to the car, I mean, it is a quite exceptional one. I love finding these cars. It's had one private owner from new, each and every service, and only recently done as well by the Honda main dealers. And from memory, I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's about 7 or 8 services. So it's been done on the year, not on the mileage, quite clearly. So you would rather expect and hope the car to be good, and it doesn't disappoint in any way. So for those not wanting to listen to my voice any longer, you can switch off because it drives absolutely beautifully. But for the others who want to listen to the individual parts, I'll go through them one by one. Engine, push button start, starts instantly, settles to a smooth, even idle. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car, and temperature gauge is running at a third, which is exactly where it's meant to be on a Honda vehicle. The engines are superb diesel engines. It is so smooth and quiet. It hasn't got kind of that harsh gravelly edge that lots of diesels have when you put your foot down. It picks up, responds with natural guts and torque, which the capacity gives it, but it does so very, very smoothly indeed. It's a really pleasant engine to use, and it's got a really wide power band, from just over tick over all the way through to its red line, and all perfectly accessible. Engine then feeds through into the clutch and gearbox, and again, as you'd expect, the clutch, perfect. Bike point's exactly where it's meant to be. It's lovely and smooth in operation. It's all absolutely fine. Gearbox, Honda do these things absolutely brilliantly. They're slightly obsessed by making sure the tactile feel of all these things feel good to hand. And it all starts with the position in the gear lever. It's kind of sticks out of the dashboard at this angle rather than sort of vertically, but it makes the gear shift so much more natural than sort of pushing forward. Your hand kind of goes up and down with it. The gear selection is absolutely superb. It's short and throw, it's snappy, it's precise, it's just beautifully done. It really, really is. And that feels exactly as it would have done when it was new, because there's just no wear in it at all. Steering on the car, first and foremost, track's absolutely dead straight. There's no vibrations at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit. And a very good power steering system. As I always say in the videos for the CR-Vs, they're not sports cars, they're not meant to be. But what it is a brilliant way of getting from A to B with yourself or passengers in the car. And the chassis is all part of that. So when you go through corners like this one here, slightly yumpy off camber, minimal movement of the steering wheel, it's quite quick geared relatively. It's accurate, it's precise, it's really nicely weighted, really confidence inspiring. It's just the perfect setup for this type of car. And again, the chassis works with it because the car flows the corners really well. It's far more accomplished than you give it credit for. Body controls brilliantly reined in, so there's far less of that kind of yumping and secondary motions you get on with lots of these taller cars, and yet it still allows for a very compliant and comfortable ride, because it's actually quite hard to achieve all those things. You can either go for a pillowy ride, which seems initially very nice and comfortable, but then you throw a few corners in and you find that it's nauseating as it just heave-hoses through the corners. Coming back to the chassis, this section of road here is awful. It's like the surface of the moon. I always talk about it this section so I can just listen out for any rattles or clonks coming back through the suspension, of which there's absolutely nothing at all. I'm just going to give the brakes a good thump, make sure there's no one behind me. It's a really nice brake pedal on the car, as you'd expect. Powerful, positive, no pulsing, no vibrations, absolutely spot on. Finally, to come inside the car, I've always loved these lighter interiors. I have to be honest with you, I just think it works brilliantly for two reasons. One, it lifts your spirits in the car. When you're on particularly on dark, dull winter's days, black cars. I know why people like them, obviously, but they can be a little bit gloomy when everything else is black. The video and pictures rarely do it justice. Actually, it's far nicer in the flesh than it looks in photographs. But it's just really nicely done, beautifully built. The fact that you got the lighter leather means that on raging hot summer's days you don't get those burningly hot seats inside the car, and on the freezing cold winter days you don't get those icy cold ones either. So it's the best of all worlds. And to keep them nicer, it's dead easy. Just keep a cloth and some wet wipes. If you spill something, wet wipe it and dry it straight away, and you can keep them absolutely beautifully clean. And it is in lovely, lovely condition in here. You got fantastic visibility in these cars, quite a low dash line, massive wing mirrors, all help to make you feel very sort of assured and confident on the road in terms of kind of lane changes and that kind of thing, or manoeuvres. But I say also a car when you get into, even though it's laden with equipment, it's not one that kind of you get bamboozled by when you get inside it. It's pretty straightforward actually to operate, and within a day or two of driving it all becomes second nature. Far easier to come to terms with than the overly complicated stuff we have these days. Sat nav working perfectly, air conditioning blowing out ice cold air, and you can have dual zones. You can have different temperatures side to side if you so wish as well. Heated seats again, all working exactly as they should. What videos don't show you is every time you press a button on one of these cars, you've met with that again, a really lovely tactile feel, sort of a precise, rubbery, high quality feel to all the switchgear. All has the same kind of damped feel to it. Ooh, birds. Dash binnacle in front, again typical Honda. It's just simple, legible, neatly presented, so you can look at it, take the information in, and that's it. It's not overdone, as too many are, where you look at it, you have to stare at it for half an hour to try to glean what information you want to get. Nice small diameter leather bound steering wheel, feels absolutely fantastic in hand and shows zero wear. This is a four-wheel drive version of the CR-V, albeit there are no buttons to press. Basically, Honda worked out very quickly when designing the first CR-V that the vast majority of their customers would be driving as I am today, where you just don't need four-wheel drive on. So basically, it runs as a front-wheel drive car, which is the most efficient way, fuel-wise and for other reasons, to pull a car along. Should it need to go into four-wheel drive, it'll do it for you immediately. It's just genius because it works by the traction control system. So if your front wheel starts to lose grip on ice, snow or mud or something like that, before you could react yourself, it's already brought in the four-wheel drive seamlessly, and it's like someone giving you a push in the back. It's brilliantly done. The advantages of it are fairly obvious. Obviously, if you've got a car that's running permanent four-wheel drive, everything's whirring away permanently, so you're going to get through more fuel, get through your tyres more quickly, and put a lot more mechanical stress to the vehicle. The fact that this one has only been used 1% of the time, if that, means that the four-wheel drive systems are I can't remember the last time we ever touched one, or if we ever have. It's honestly so tough and robust. But the car is it's exactly what I love to try and find, and what a lot of my customers like to try and find as well. Low mileage, one owner, full main dealer history cars in really good condition, and this is one. It's exactly what it says on the tin. It's a lovely car. It's obvious why they're so sought after. Whoever gets this next will be taking on a mighty fine car indeed.